Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark, this is Spiguyver Backpacking, and today has been kind of a hectic day. It's been a little bit stressful for me because I had to do like 4 things, and then it turned into like 5 things to get here to do what I'm about to do. And so I've already said it, I've already told you guys that I was coming to Yosemite. So I landed in Fresno, I landed at 1, had to get my rental car. It took almost an hour to get the rental car. So 2 o'clock. I had to drive a half hour south to drop off my bags at my hotel. Then an hour and a half drive with a stop at REI to get food, fuel, and then get here by 4:30 to get my wilderness permit before they closed at 4:30. So, a lot of stuff to do. All right, got the rental car, got down, dropped off my stuff, got on the way, got to REI, no fuel. Absolutely no canisters, completely out of fuel. Like no huge ones, no little ones, nothing. So I got food, drove up here, and I was hauling. I mean, there were sections I was doing the speed limit, of course. I mean, definitely doing the speed limit. Fortunately, I got a sports car as my rental car, so the corners and the curves coming up the mountains into here were good. But I had to get here. I pulled in at 4:32 and I was like, oh, there's no way. Door was still open. I went in, they got me taken care of. I've got my permit, so I'm all legal. I asked him, hey, is there anywhere locally I can get some fuel, because I'm out of fuel and I don't have any water yet. So he sent me down to the general store, just like a quarter mile away, not even that. Picked up what I needed, and now I've got my suitcase, my backpack, all my stuff. The bear can is in there, food in the front seat up here. I've got to get it all packed, put together, get changed into some hiking clothes, hit the trail. It's a little after 5 right now, and I've got to do at least 4 miles today before I can camp, because the legal limit is 4 miles. So I know exactly which trail junction that is. So I've got to hit the trail to get there. So I'm gonna get my stuff packed. Let's go. That river is absolutely raging. I mean, the park ranger was telling me somebody actually crossed it yesterday. Look at that. Not this guy. We're gonna continue up, get to the falls. This is insane. So much water, so much power. I mean, woo! Look at this. We'll keep going up and check it out a little bit higher. This is just such a special place. So awesome out here. So behind me over here, you're just starting to see just glimpses of the upper falls. And sometimes you see a whole bunch of the mist from the falls coming through between some of the rocks. Really, really neat. We're actually getting really close to being up on top of the upper falls. I gotta show you how much water is coming down there. It just is very cool. I know it's really hard to see through the trees, but just look at the amount of water, the mist, the spray. It's just so cool. So I specifically decided to come into this area, this side of the park, because it's not what gets a lot of attention. The valley, sometimes Tuolumne Meadows, Clouds Rest, Half Dome, El Cap, Bridal Veil Falls, Nevada Falls, Vernal Falls. Those are the popular ones. But I want to come out here, go to Wawona, and come up on this side where we've got the redwoods, and we've just got a little bit different scenery. It's not all exposed granite. There's still a lot, but it's not all that. And I'm about to go back into the woods, and I've definitely done my 4 miles plus. I'm past the junction. The junction was back there, and so I'm going up into the woods up here. I'm gonna find a spot. We've got to be 100 feet from the trail, 100 feet from the water, and so we'll find a good spot, get set up. It's probably gonna get dark pretty soon. The sun is behind the ridge over here. What's nice is with this low humidity, it cools off so quickly. Like, I was warm when I started. Now there's a little bit of a chill to the air, and it's really, really nice. I like it. This area is just beautiful. All right, so I walked off the trail a ways, found this spot, got it set up right here, and about to deploy the tarp. There are thunderstorms in the forecast overnight, tomorrow, Sunday. Yeah, we'll see whether or not they actually come. But I definitely saw some puffies, some billowing, some black ones, but no clouds dumping anything on me, so we're good. I'm gonna finish getting this set up, and then it is definitely dinner time. I have not eaten much today. I've had a little bit of stuff when I was at the lounge at the airport. Then I had a protein bar. And then while I was in line, the bad side of me took over. While I was in line at REI, there were some Jelly Belly gummies, and so I bought the bag of those and I ate the whole thing. I think it's like 10 servings, but I ate the whole damn thing. That's why I've got to work on this. All right, so I decided for dinner tonight, it's gonna be the Peak Chicken Alfredo pasta. This one's really good. Only requires 1 cup of water to do this, which is crazy how little it takes. I'm not at a deficit for water. Just right down the hill down there, I've got a little stream going through. It's running pretty rapid, so it's nothing like the river down there that was going. But so I'm gonna get my stuff set up and get that one going because I am hungry. Going down to get some water to filter. There's still snow. Really, where we're going, as we get higher up, we're definitely gonna hit snow. The ranger that I talked to wasn't sure whether or not I could actually get to the lake that I really was intending on going to. He said there's probably still about 10 feet of snow up there, and the last person that went that direction turned around due to all the downed trees. So we'll see. We'll see how bad it is and evaluate as we go. Good morning. Slept really well. You know, time change differences. Really, when I went to bed last night, it was probably, 8:30, 9 o'clock, which is 11:30 or midnight East Coast time. So my body was ready for bed. And then about 4:17, I was woke up by a thunderstorm that rolled through. Loud thunder. But it was short-lived, and it's been kind of sprinkling, raining on and off since then, but nothing super heavy. So I'm just kind of laying here. It's a little after 6 right now, and I don't know, I'm contemplating whether or not I want to just hit the trail and then do breakfast somewhere along the trail later on. I'm not feeling all that hungry last night. I mean, I ate pretty much straight before going to bed. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I slept really well. Like, really well. I was just tired. I was worn out. And the stress of getting here and getting it all done, all of that kind of went away when I hit the trail. But, it still was with me. Now it's really sad to see how many of these old growth, really large old redwoods and sequoias are dead. If we follow this one up, you can see. So we're seeing a lot of them on the ground. And there are some common misconceptions that people have about like wildfires and how destructive they are. In truth, things like redwoods. So redwoods actually have a fire resistant or fire retardant bark their pine cones actually come down, they fall closed, completely closed, and they need the heat from a fire to actually open them up so the seeds can fall out to grow. Additionally, the wildfires clear out that underbrush, which chokes out a lot of the seedlings that are coming up, and really makes it hard for the bigger ones as well. So wildfires are a natural part of the ecosystem, of keeping things safe and keeping things healthy. And they get a bad rap sometimes, but part of that is because we fight them so hard that it gets to the point where once they get going, it's not what they were meant to be. It's not what they originally were. You know, lightning starts a fire, it goes, takes care of business, and is done. Because we fight it so hard, it builds up that underbrush to the point where when it does go, it becomes this raging, out of control fire that isn't doing the beneficial things it's doing. It's actually creating harm because we've let it go too long. Just a thought. And I know there's people out there that probably know a whole lot more about this than me, and I welcome your comments down below. So let me know what you think. I just stop and take off the hoodie. Getting warm. Really since the parking lot, which is about 3,000 feet, I'm about 7,300 feet right now. It's been a continuous climb. There's been really no flat spots, really no relief. It's just kind of a climb. But it's starting to get be a little bit more work. Really small snow patches right here, but I've come through some that are probably waist deep, and because everything's starting to melt, I am at times post-holing like mid-thigh deep in it, which makes for a lot of work. And then as you see ahead, there are quite a few blowdowns. I mean, you can see the trees right here just kind of blown down. You got to pick your way around them, pick your way through them, and so it's just a little bit more work than a nice groomed trail, but it's all part of the adventure. It's why we're out here. It's why we come out, why we explore. If it was easy, everyone do it. There'd be nothing to brag about, nothing to feel good about yourself having accomplished something. Whether or not we get to where I intended to go, Buena Vista Lake, Buena Vista Peak, who knows? I mean, as the snow gets higher and higher, it may become impassable. I've got my micro spikes with me just in case, but with being as soft as it is, they may not be something that even helps. Snowshoes might have been, but we'll see. All we can do is try. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick it up, but just under that peak, below the trees, there's a really cool waterfall over there. You can hear it from over here, but oh, it's beautiful. I've decided this is the spot I'm going to stop and have some breakfast. So here's what the view from this breakfast spot looks like. Yeah. So for breakfast this morning, I'm doing something that's a little different, a little outside of my norm by a long shot. Something that I'm not actually a fan of, but enough people keep saying I've got to try it, that I've got the Peak Refuel biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and sausage gravy, to be exact. I do like sausage, but I've never been a big biscuits and gravy fan. I've had it plenty of times, and it just never is appealing. I have really liked pretty much almost all of the Peak Refuel meals I've had. So I've got the water on to boil. We'll throw it in there. I'll let you guys know what I think. So for this trip, I did bring my waterproof high top or 3/4 speed goats. So the Hoka Speed Goat 5s. These are the waterproof ones, Gore-Tex. And I've had to walk a couple of the crossings. You know, the rocks that I had to step on were actually submerged, so there was water running over my foot. And so far they stayed dry. I've come through quite a bit of snow, and I could feel the cold, you know, as the snow was clumping up around it, really building up around the sole and around the lower part of the body of it. I could feel the cold, but I don't think there's any wetness in there other than, you know, probably a little bit of sweat because I have been working hard. That's why I threw this on now that I'm stopped, is that, you know, a little bit of chill coming on, sitting here around the snow. It's a little bit cool right here. When you're not moving, it's a little bit cool. I mean, it's still not even 9 o'clock in the morning, so there's definitely time for it to warm up. The sun is up there. It's trying to burn through, but it hasn't made it yet. Hopefully it makes it. But that's also going to make things more difficult when I get higher. So I'm at like 7,600, 7,700 feet right now. And it's now at the point where it's more snow than it is dirt. But as I get higher and it's all snow, that sun's going to make it soft, and it's going to be a lot more post-holing than what I'm doing right now. So you've got your gives and takes. With the good comes the bad. But I'm okay with it. Okay, so let's give this a try, see what I think. It's been, I think, 10 minutes, maybe a little over 10 minutes. I have stirred it a couple of times and I've licked the spoon, and I'll be honest, the taste is pretty good. So let's get a little bite here. Make sure we get some sausage, a little bit of the biscuit in there. Pretty good size bite here. I'm gonna let it sit a few more minutes. Sausage is still got a little bit of crunch to it, and the biscuits are still pretty crunchy. I don't know if that's what they're supposed to be, but I'm gonna let them sit probably another 5 minutes. We'll check. Overall, taste is pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Right now, where I'm sitting, it's a pretty good breakfast. All right, it's been a few more minutes. It's been sitting. The sun actually came out for a couple of minutes, warmed me up. It was actually really nice. But what I don't like is there are some low clouds coming in over here, completely blocking everything. And actually they keep getting lower and thicker right over there. A little bit of concern with that, just kind of what's coming with it. But let's give this a try. Still could probably use a few more minutes. I'm thinking this is one of those meals that might need like 20 minutes to rehydrate rather than the 10 that they recommend. But the flavor is pretty good. It's got a ton of calories, 1,100 calories, 34 grams of protein, quite a bit of fat and carbs in here. So, I mean, it's really good to get you going through the day. Definitely a calorie dense meal. I'm gonna sit here and eat it, and yeah, I stand corrected. Biscuits and gravy is not a bad breakfast. Maybe I'll try some of the other ones as well. I know Outdoor Pantry has one. Maybe I'll try that one. This one's pretty good though. Peak Refuel has not really disappointed much. That is pretty awesome right there. The creek goes under the snow. There's like a snow bridge over it, and you can see it goes under. Now, to get where I'm going, I actually need to cross this, but I'm not sure I really want to go across that snow bridge. I don't know. I came down into this valley where two trails are supposed to converge, and I did a whole lot of walking around trying to figure out where I was, trying to figure out how to find it. The problem is, as you can see, there's a lot of snow, and if I turn this around, you can see around these trees, it is still, I mean, except where it's evaporated or melted around the trees, it's still like, I don't know, 8 feet, 10-foot drifts in areas, 4 feet over here. But I did find a sign. So this sign marks the junction, I believe, or at least close to it. And there are some footprints going that way, which is the trail that I think I need to be on. I went down along the creek. I did actually cross that one snow bridge, and I could not find anything that resembled a trail, even when I was pulling out the GPS and pretty much directly on the trail. I couldn't find any sign that actually pointed towards it actually being a trail. I followed what the GPS was pointing at, and it wasn't looking right. So I decided I would try to find this point. So I went back over the water bridge, or the snow bridge, came down, found another snow bridge, one that, again, I had seen there were tracks, other people had come across it, so I was like, but I did it. And so then I found my way up here, just kept looking at the GPS, figuring out where this point was. So Wawona, we've gone 8.5 miles since leaving. But I'm gonna follow these footprints here and see if that's the trail I want to be on. There may actually be another sign like over here, but it'd be under the snow, so I don't know. But I think that's the direction I want. Well, I know that's the direction I want to go. We'll keep following it until it doesn't make sense anymore. Like I said, it was an adventure today. I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to be able to do it. This is where we are. One of the reasons it's tough out here isn't just that it's snowy and you can't see the trail, but that in the national park, at least in Yosemite, the trails aren't marked. So yes, there are trail signs at different points, but it isn't like the Appalachian Trail or several other trails that are out there that have markings along the trees. There are no markings on these. You know, they keep it very much pristine. You just have to follow the trails. And so when there's no way to actually see the trails, what you're looking for is, are there logs that have been cut? Because cut logs means it's a trail somebody's been on. Or is there an obvious path through these woods that I can take? And honestly, there's been a lot of spots I just have not seen that. So we're just out here having fun. And I'll tell you what, it is damn good to be out here. Probably for a mile now, I've been picking my way through the woods, kind of looking ahead, saying, okay, that looks about like a trail. Going, I don't know, 300 yards or so, pulling out the GPS, seeing where I am, making corrections, and kind of zigzagging down through. But it's really nice when you think you're on the path, and then you come to a spot like this where you can see the water flowing down through here, and that looks like a trail. And then right next to it, you've got cut wood. So wood that was sawed with a blade. Really is a good indicator that you're on the actual trail. So those are the types of things that I'm looking at along with the GPS in order to really validate that I'm where I need to be. So again, I've come to a spot where I think this right here, this creek, may actually be the trail. Got another cut log right there, and definitely a path there. You know, I've taken a winding road to get here, but and it's work. It is definitely work coming over all this snow. All right, so I was down the hill that way over a little bit, and I checked and I was a little bit below the trail, and so I looked up and I saw this trail sign sitting here. So that means I've made it to the next junction. So here the trail splits, and it looks like I've got a trail that goes that way and a trail that goes that way. And we're supposed to take the one that goes that way. I fell back there, slipped, post hold straight through, fell down onto some stuff. No big deal. I don't know, we'll go up this way a little bit, but if it's not a little bit easier to route find, I may just turn around, go back. There were a couple spots that looked really nice. Maybe come like a base camp to go do a little bit of exploring from. I don't know, we'll see. We will see. But for now, I'm gonna keep going, pushing through this stuff, trying to figure out a way. I was running low on water. I stopped right here. There's a little trickle back here. I mean, there's water everywhere today. I mean, everywhere there's an opening, there's water. There's so much snow melt going on that there's water everywhere. There's no issue with that. So I got some water, filtered, sat here, drank some. I'm just kind of contemplating what the next steps are. It's pushing 11:30 right now. I mean, it's like 2.5 hours since I had breakfast, and I haven't traveled super far just due to trying to find the route, trying to go through. So I'm at the point now, after that the second trail branch or trail junction, that I should be starting to head uphill. I'm at about, I went back down, so I was up to 7,800 and I went down to 7,400. I'm about 7,400 right here. But the climb up goes all the way up to a little over 9,000 feet up at the lake that I wanted to go to. And I can just imagine if when I was back just a little ways, there were spots that, you know, when you get next to the trees, they're kind of like a tunnel down to the bottom. Some of them were a good 15, 20 feet of snow deep. Now it's not everywhere. Like where I'm sitting right now, it's dry right here. It's probably a 3 to 4 foot section back here. Over here is all probably 3 feet. But there's definitely sections that you're going through that are much, much deeper. And I can only imagine as we keep going up, it's going to get more and more like that. And what that makes it harder to do is actually spot the trail, because really there's kind of like this tunnel for the trail where if you're looking through, you can kind of see there's not a lot of branches and it's kind of a clear path. Like right here, if we were to look around here, this all looks pretty closed in. But if we look right straight down there through that tree, you can see how it's open. But as you get higher up, the branches haven't been trimmed back or whatever, and so it gets a little bit harder to find. Plus, it's been a lot of work, and I mean, 2 hours or so to do, I don't know, mile or two that I've done, doesn't make for very promising trip up. And it's a long way. I mean, it's miles and miles before we get to another spot where there's any views. So what I'm thinking right now is backtracking back, getting back up on top. Like I said, there were a few spots that I'd seen that looked like really nice spots. So might as well go kind of claim a spot early in the day, do a little bit of exploring around that area before everything gets taken. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm backtracking right now, coming down, and as you can see, the sun behind me has come out, and it actually almost instantly is making the snow super soft, like way softer than what it was before. Before I was really on top, maybe sinking in an inch. Now I'm back to post holing, and so I was actually moving at a pretty good rate back here, kind of, you know, was in a rhythm, and then post hold, and all my body weight went onto my pole, and carbon pole snapped. Good thing about it is these are the Gossamer Gear poles, so that center section I can swap it out, and it's replaceable. So just pull it out and go on their website, order that section, and I can get just that section shipped to me, get it replaced, and back to being as good as new. But right now I'm going to take it apart because it's pretty well beyond repair. It's pretty shattered. That's what happens though. I mean, hey, pay to play. So here you go. You can see bottom section completely fine, top section completely fine. It's just this section that's got the absolute demolishedness to it. So that's the piece that needs to be replaced. These two still good. Okay, what I didn't see last time, because all this brush was over it, is here's the sign for the trail that I was going up. And you can see Buena Vista Lake is 5.5. I was probably about a half mile up that trail, so I was still another 5 miles away, and it was all uphill at elevation. So with additional snow and the snow getting softer, we're doing the right thing. So there were no tracks when I came down through, but I noticed just a little ways after the junction, coming back this way, I ran into a section of additional trails, additional tracks, and now they're following my tracks. So it looks like, from what I can see, 2 people, possibly 3, came out, got to a point just prior to the sign, the junction, where I was like a half mile up. They turned around and are back ahead of me, but they've got lots of footprints here now, so it's a lot easier to follow it. When it was just mine, it's actually, while it's easier than trying to break your own trail, it is hard to find them in some spots, especially when you get into the woods, when you get under the trees and you're going in between, and it's still a little bit harder in there. It's a lot harder to see it. Out here, once you get out into the open and the sun has been hitting it and it's a little bit squishier, it's a whole lot easier. I gotta pay attention. If you look over there, really dark clouds coming in. If you look up here, you can see that they're cumulonimbus that are climbing. So gotta pay attention. If I start hearing any rumbling, I'm gonna have to move down. I am probably 100 feet from the top up here, about 7,800, and then I'll start heading down again. So as long as I can make it up there before it starts rumbling, I'll be on the right side of things. Okay, so I'm just passing the top right now. You can see all the clouds over here. They're actually like almost even with me. Kind of skirting the tops over there. You can see the base of it out that way. And it is starting to rumble. At least I'm on the downhill side, and I can kind of pick up the pace and get down there. I just got to be careful on these spots where there's snow, because with it being a little bit warmer right now, it softened them up and they're pretty slick. It started raining, so I put the rain gear on. It's actually a good thing I came down, because this stuff is all over on that side along those peaks that I was actually headed toward. So it's mainly over there. There's been a lot of thunder, a few bolts of lightning that I've seen, but all of them have been in that general direction over there. So I've been pretty good so far, but I'm going to continue to head down. So over in this area out here was one of the areas I was really thinking was going to be a nice place to camp. But with the storms going through, even though this first wave seems to have passed through, you can see some puffies out there. I do have enough of a signal right here that I was able to check radar, and there is another line that's headed this way. So I'm not sure if this is a smart place either, because it's pretty exposed. I think the storm's actually building all around me. It's getting darker. Thunder all around. There's that. I mean, if I look out ahead of me, I mean, the direction I'm going, I used to be able to see out. Now, it's just completely gray out there, and a pretty dark gray. I'm thinking I may want to go down this next little section, get off trail a little bit, and find an area I can set up my tarp and at least kind of wait it out, because I think it's coming. Okay, so it's gotten completely foggy outside. I found a spot, set this up, got it semi-low, not as low as it could go, but low enough and tight enough that, you know, it should ride out the storm just fine. But we'll just kind of hang out in here. I'm not going to set up the hammock or anything, just going to see kind of how this goes for right now, and yeah, we'll see. And just in case this is a longer term event, and I am stuck in here for the night. I am pretty sure I'm legal. I'm about 100 feet from the trail. It's close, but should be pretty close. And then there's water that direction. I can't see it. I'm assuming it's probably 100 feet or so. So I'm pretty legal-ish. So got some lunch going. I did the outdoor pantry beef stew. And I think what I'm gonna do is, once this passes, it's still rumbling around. I haven't gotten really any rain since I've stopped. I'm gonna head back down towards the falls, and there were some spots where several tents were set up last night that looked like really nice spots. One of them was on the other side of a creek, so I'm gonna go explore, see whether or not they're open right now. If they're open, then I may grab one of those sites and use that for the night rather than you know, being here. I think that that'd be really cool. If things clear up, going up on top of those rocks might be really nice for sunset. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Whereas here, I'm definitely in the woods. I mean, there's no denying I'm in the woods right here, and there's gonna be no sunset. I'm finally feeling justified for setting up the tarp. The rain is finally coming down, and so it's nice to have this sitting here eating, and so got this going for me. And I may do up a cup of coffee. We'll see. Kind of thinking a cup of coffee sounds really nice right now. At some point, I'm going to need to go over, get some water though, because I'm pretty low. I think I've got enough to do a cup of coffee, but that's probably it. So it's not just rain coming down right now. That's hail. A nice G7 3-in-1. So it got to where there was another cell building, and I decided I was just going to hang the hammock up, adjust the tarp a little bit. Got in here, started reading. Next thing I knew, I fell asleep. So this may be where I spend the night. I do still need to go get some water, but I'm all warm in here. I don't feel like getting up. I do have to make some adjustments to the hammock too, because I just threw it up. I didn't like completely get it adjusted the way that I wanted it. Because I didn't think I was going to stay here. But now that it's 2 hours later, yeah, maybe I will stay here. Nothing wrong with it, you know. It's been a while since I've had a little midday siesta in the hammock, but it was nice. Since I've got everything set up and I am here, I would show you guys home for the night. So here's my setup back here. I've got it pulled out to a tree on one side, and then my one surviving pole is pulling out on the other side. I've got it spread pretty wide now, wider than I had it earlier. But this is just such a beautiful grove here. Let me show you. Yes, there's some dead ones, but nice stand of sequoias here. Just like a perfect spot to set up camp. So awesome. Alright, I'm a little surprised that I'm actually hungry. It's a little after 6. I've eaten a lot today. I mean, I haven't snacked at all. I haven't had any bars while I was hiking or anything. But I did eat breakfast, lunch, and now dinner. And so this is going to be the cheesy chicken and broccoli. I've had this one other time. I had it out in Harriman, and I actually really liked it. So, got the water on right now, and when it comes to a boil, we'll get this thing going. But another super tasty one from Peak Refuel. So this one is pretty much like 4 things. It's chicken, and there's a lot of chicken in there, rice, broccoli, and a cheese sauce. And you can see it right there. I mean, that's a lot of chicken just right on top. But it's really cheesy. So today was kind of a weird day, kind of a mixed bag. You know, it started out, woke up to a thunderstorm this morning, then got out, hit the trail, and was really feeling really good. Had a lot of climbing, then the snow hit, or I hit where it was covered in snow. And it made it really hard to navigate, really hard to find and stay on the trail. But pushed through, figured out where I was going, you know, used the GPS, used kind of my own sense of where things were, looking through the trees, and it was making it work. But it just got to the point where I realized anything I had to do today, I had to do again tomorrow to get out, plus what I did yesterday. And while it was, for the most part, going to be downhill, it was also going to be in a lot of snow. And I'm fortunate that I did turn around because of that storm coming in, and that storm was really focused over that area, really over those peaks over there. It was still quite a bit of climbing, over, you know, 1,500 more feet of climbing, over 5 miles. So, while not super steep, over snow, snow that was softening up too was the other part of it. I mean, I feel like I had a good weekend out here, but it leaves me a little bit unsatisfied, a little bit like there's more to do. Like I need to come back out, do some more. Really wanted to make it up to that lake. I'm not even sure that the lake, given how much snow there is, if it's even thawed. I mean, I'm sure that it froze over and then there was a layer of snow over it. I don't know whether or not that's even thawed out at this point, but I was going to go try and find out. It's okay. I got an early start this morning on the trail, a little after 6. Started off with that first crossing, and you know, the first time I crossed it going out, I'd used the rocks down below, and some of them were pretty slippery, and I had 2 poles. I've only got 1 pole now, so I decided to take a look, saw that like dammed up area, and kind of went there. Made it pretty easy. It's a nice morning. It's not too chilly. It's just about perfect hiking temperature right now. It's beautiful all around. So right up here is a good reason to have a freestanding tent, and it's because of just the opportunities and the places that you can set up. Oh yeah, they had the view, like a perfect setup right there, up on top, being able to see out. Pretty amazing. Since I've got plenty of time this morning, I'm taking a little bit of time exploring these upper falls. So there's really like three tiers. So there's a tier here that I'm at, and then just a little ways down, there's the thousands of feet of drop that you really don't get a good view of anywhere, honestly. And then there's the lower falls, which are pretty spectacular as well. about it. I'm back pretty much to the car, to the parking lot, and it has been an amazing weekend. I didn't make it where I wanted to go because of the snow, but because of that snow, because of the snow melt, and because of the storms, these rivers are absolutely raging, which makes these waterfalls so spectacular. Look, I didn't get where I was going. Big deal. I got out, I enjoyed it, I saw a lot of cool stuff, and I got back out to Yosemite, so I'm a happy man. All right, I will see you guys down the trail.